Media playback is unsupported on your device. Media caption: Why do North Koreans revere a mountain? U.S. President Donald Trump has renewed sanctions on North Korea, citing an extraordinary threat from its nuclear weapons. Just 10 days after saying there was no risk from Pyongyang, there is no launch or a nuclear threat from North Korea, he tweeted on June 13, a day after meeting the country's leader Kim Jong-un in Singapore. The Pentagon said the goal was to support diplomatic negotiations. The move came as the U.S. and South Korea canceled 2 more training exercises. It follows the decision this week to suspend a major joint military exercise between the U.S. and South Korea that had been planned for August. President Trump promised to end the annual war games between the allies in an unexpected concession at his summit with Mr. Kim, calling them provocative and expensive. Did the summit rhetoric match reality? North Korea crisis in 300 words. What are the U.S.-South Korea war games? That came as a shock to many, as the U.S. had previously argued that the drills were purely defensive and key to its military alliance with Seoul. Has Trump changed his tone on North Korea? It do sound that way, but the U.S. has had a national emergency in place with regard to North Korea since 2008. Since then, presidents have routinely reviewed that status and the anti-Pyongyang sanctions that go with it. President Trump extended the national emergency on Friday due to the existence risk of proliferation of weapons usable fissile material on the Korean peninsula and the actions and policies of the government of North Korea. These continue to pose an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States, he said in a notice to Congress. Democrats say the latest White House language contradicts the president's earlier boasts about the success of the Singapore summit. In another tweet on June 13, he said Americans could sleep well tonight. Skip Twitter post by @RealDonaldTrump. Just landed a long trip, but everybody can now feel much safer than the day I took office. Meeting with Kim Jong-un was an interesting and very positive experience. There is no longer a nuclear threat from North Korea. North Korea has great potential for the future. Donald J. Trump @RealDonaldTrump. June 13, 2018 report. End of Twitter post by @RealDonaldTrump. Skip Twitter post 2 by @RealDonaldTrump. Before taking office, people were assuming that we were going to war with North Korea. President Obama said that North Korea was our biggest and most dangerous problem. No longer. Sleep well tonight. Donald J. Trump @RealDonaldT. Rump. June 13, 2018 report. End of Twitter post 2 by @RealDonaldTrump. The report of President Trump's own administration completely undercuts his statements over the last few weeks. We have to treat these negotiations far more seriously than just as a photo op, he added, said the Senate's top Democrat Chuck Schumer, saying the North Korea problem is solved doesn't make it so. At the historic meeting in Singapore, the first between a sit-in U.S. President and a leader of North Korea, Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim signed a statement in which the U.S. offered security guarantees to North Korea, and North pledged to work towards complete denuclearization of the Korean peninsula without defining what that meant. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that sanctions against North Korea will remain in place as negotiations continue over its nuclear arsenal. North Korean propaganda Chang as its tune what life is like for a North Korean family. The Trump-Kim handshake moment in pictures. However, North Korean state media has reported that Mr. Trump agreed to lift sanctions as relations progress. Media playback is unsupported on your device. Media caption: Trump-Kim summit, win-win, or a K-win. Why do the training exercises matter? The Pentagon announced on Friday that U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis had indefinitely suspended some joint military exercises with South Korea. The drills are held in South Korea with local forces and U.S. soldiers stationed there, following the President's commitment at the Singapore summit. North Korea's sidelined human rights crisis. Did Trump and Kim really achieve anything in Singapore? North Korea has furiously objected to the exercises for many years, branding them provocative and a rehearsal for invasion. China too has said they do not serve The cause of peace on the Korean Peninsula. Pentagon Press Secretary Dana White said the cancelled drills included Operational Chief Freedom Guardian, which was scheduled for August and set to involve more than 17,500 U.S. service members, and 2 Korean Marine Exchange Program training exercises scheduled for the next 3 months. It is not yet clear if major U.S. drills slated for spring 2019 will also be suspended. The decision to end the military exercises has been widely criticized as a major concession to North Korea, while the joint declaration Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim signed at the end of the Singapore summit has been criticized as lacking in detail and concrete commitments from the North. After meeting Mr. Kim in Singapore, Mr. Trump told reporters, "Under the circumstances that we're negotiating, I think it's inappropriate to be having war games." Image copyright Getty Images. Image C. Caption: U.S. and South Korean troops rehearse a beach landing in April 2017. Republican Senator John McCain has criticized the president's stance on the exercises. "We must not impose upon ourselves the burden of providing so-called good faith concessions as the price for continued dialogue," he said after the Singapore summit, calling the suspensions a mistake. "This is not the first time that the U.S. and South Korea have delayed joint exercises earlier in 2018. For example, they agreed to postpone drills during the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in South Korea amid a thaw in inter-Korean relations.